Steve Austin in here with us. Stone Cold, welcome. Saturday Morning Hangover. Now, this seems like the perfect show for you to me.
Well, it is. It is. Playing the part of the manly man today, Stone Cold Steve Austin, ladies and gentlemen.
How many beers did you have last night?
You know what? I switched off. I threw my liver a little head fake.
Okay.
Went with the double crown and Diet Coke last night with a twist of lime, and right now I can use an Advil that weighs about 5 pounds. No, this is a great show for me. I'm glad you guys had me here this morning.
All right, well, we'll see what we can do about that Advil here. It's a little bit hard to find anybody in the building at this time of the morning, but hey, you know what the hell. Now, you were actually in town because you're kind of, I know you're still into the wrestling and that kind of stuff a little, but you are also big into monster trucks. You've been doing this for a while, and the monster trucks, if you missed them last night, you can still check them out at the South Point tonight and tomorrow on Sunday. Monster trucks. Now, what is it about monster trucks? Because I know, we talk about manly man stuff. Monster trucks, huge in a lot of those people's world out there. I've been to it a little bit, kind of into it, but not as much as like you.
Well, to me, it's just a lot of fun. These guys are out on the road. It's real similar to professional wrestling. They're traveling up and down the road. They're trying to keep the trucks running so they can, make a living. Same thing with us. We're out on the road trying to keep our bodies working so we can make a living. And they're entertaining people. It's a different product. It's a different in-arena product. They're jumping cars and doing freestyle or doing wheelie contests. And I've always enjoyed it because when you get, these trucks anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 horsepower, depending on what they're running, in their truck, and get great drivers with a lead foot, and devastation and destruction and low testosterone in there. I think it's kind of it's definitely probably a blue collar thing, but it's not just a guy's thing. Probably kids love this more than anything. So,
oh yeah.
As a WWE, I've entertained lots of people, lots of kids. I think the monster truck is good for kids and anybody really. It's just a good time.
Now, you own the monster truck, right? Now, you had a monster truck in the WWE. You still have that monster truck, the one that you ran over, you running over limos and Vince McMahon's limo?
I drive that thing to meetings every day in L.A.
Okay.
Right down the 405, and I never get caught in traffic. No, I didn't actually own that truck. It was a guy that we put the name on there, and I licensed it out. I don't know that. I was just a guy banging around, hitting the ropes in the ring, and don't get me caught up in all that business stuff. But no, that thing, I wouldn't mind. I've been thinking about putting another truck out there and getting more involved on a hands-on basis. But that wasn't my truck. But I had a lot of fun, crushing the Rock's Lincoln Town Car with it, and driving it and stuff like that. A lot of fun when you get behind the wheel of those things. I was out at the South Point Event Center yesterday with one of the drivers in the Ghost Rider monster truck, and he was giving me some lessons, and I was jumping cars and stuff like that. Let me tell you something, it's fun.
Now, how much fun is it? Obviously, and I would assume that you don't have too many Steve Weisers or Crown and Cokes or whatever before you get behind the wheel.
Absolutely not. I got to remain a true professional on that deal. But I jumped. It was my second jump, and I just first time I eased over pretty good, and then the second time I really gassed it, and I caught so much air, I scraped the top of that roof of that car on the ceiling of that building. I'm kidding, man. Easy, did you? Easy. He looked at me like, what the hell?
No, now you're out here in Vegas. How are you enjoying Las Vegas out here? Now, how often do you come out here?
Well, just for years with WWE, and probably before that with WCW. And I worked at Thomas and Macri, and I don't know how many times. And Vegas is a little bit different town because, you got so many people coming in doing the gambling thing. And when you really think about the locals, trying to put on a show, sometimes Vegas can be tough, but we've had so many pay-per-views and stuff here. I enjoy Vegas. Last night I went out and saw a show, and I don't usually go out and see too many shows, but saw a show last night and had a good time. So I love it out here. I love the 24/7 aspect of it. I like the lights, all the neon stuff, and just good stuff.
All right, Stone Cold Steve also with us, Saturday Morning Hangover, Fox Sports Radio 1460, Ballpark Frank Harnish, and Darian Diddy Coles are here with you. Darian's final show, by the way, we'll tell you what he's going to be doing a little bit later on here, is he is going to be going off to a new and better gig for you. But Stone Cold, we got to get into it here. Obviously, we're going to talk about some wrestling here. The first thing I want to know right off the bat, you and Vince McMahon, on camera in that, you had a very tumultuous, to say it nicely, relationship. What is your true, actual relationship with Vince McMahon?
Actual relationship right now is real good. But in the past, like all the stuff that we did, for the TV, for Monday Night Raw was, man, it was just great because when you're in there with a guy like Vince, and Oh, that was just ad lib and just kind of let it fly stuff. We knew where we were going, but we just went out there and made it happen.
And you did let it fly, kind of like that truck at the South Point the
Oh,
other
yeah.
night.
Yes.
But when you have two people out there, two characters or personalities as strong as Stone Cold and Vince McMahon, it just, you kind of feed off each other. Really love being in the ring with that guy. I've enjoyed working with him. I'm still a big part of the company. I've got a long-term contract with WWE, although I don't wrestle anymore. But, you know, behind the scenes, I mean, there's been some good times and bad times. And, you know, I remember I blew up a couple of times and walked away from the company and, you know, got pissed off and I thought I was being screwed over. But, you know, sometimes when I look back at some of the ways I handled things, I wouldn't mind, you know, thinking things through a little bit better than I did. But nonetheless, I mean, that's just my personality. And I probably got it from my mom, I think, a little bit of stubbornness. But right now, we're on good terms.
Now, what do you think of the state of the WWE's now? Now, I used to be a big wrestler. I mean, when you and The Rock were in there, I mean, I was watching it nonstop. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't really tend to watch it nowadays. Now, what do you think about today's superstars in the WWE?
I think it's changed a little bit. It's kind of like anything. It's changed a lot. I mean, you know, it continues to kind of evolve and get slicker, and just like football and baseball, and it just seems anything on TV these days has changed. But I think the big thing that kind of gets me is the characters aren't as strong, and I think the guys aren't really living it enough, and I'm not feeling it enough. I think they need to let some of the guys fly and ad lib a little bit more on their own, like I did. And I think that's the way when you really truly put your heart and your soul and your brain into something. And I'll tell you something, each and every time I went to the ring, and we know what wrestling is, it's entertainment. I'm not here to insult anybody's intelligence. But when I went to that ring, whether it was an interview, you know, a promo or a match or whatever, I believed that 120% that what I was doing and the situation I was in was absolutely real. And it was real to me, and so I lived it. And that's, I think, is the difference between drawing money and having success, putting asses in seats, and not.
Well, you know, it's interesting because, like Darian, I'm a big wrestling fan, and I kind of felt the heyday of it was back when there was WCW and then WWF back then, and then even ECW is the kind of renegade organization. It seems like since Vince basically bought up everything, and I know there's TNA, and I know there's other little, the mountain wrestling and this and that you can find little things, but WWE is the real king. It almost seemed like it was the heyday because of the competition and because of the bidding and because guys really had to go out there and be even a little bit more out front because you had competition on Monday night. There was Nitro and the WWF, and then you had the ECW cards, which I absolutely used to love. I mean, do you think that the competition helped it, or is it better with Vince owning basically everything?
Well, there's no doubt, you know, with the Monday Night Wars, who won that was the fans, because
I know I felt like I did all the time.
Right.
you know, they could go back and forth, or TiVo won, but the competition, because it was everything but the kitchen sink every Monday night. And I thought that was just some compelling action and great storylines. And then, you know, they kicked our ass for 2 years in the ratings. And then finally, you know, I started coming along and I got really hot. We beat them one time and then we just smoked them from then on. But I think you got to have competition. And, you know, I always, you know, like when I talk about TNA, I don't like the shape of the ring. It bothers me, you know, just because I'm kind of old school.
I'm the same way.
And I think it's kind of a cruiserweight kind of ring. No disrespect to a cruiserweight. But I wish those guys well because I want them to be able to compete with the WWE. And I think competition's good, and I think it makes the product better. So I wish, you know, that they keep coming on. I know they got some good funding behind them. And, you know, I don't know. I think competition makes everything better.